You got to be proud that you are with one of the best companies out there. So our product platform, and I want to talk about this one right here, is the power of choice. You know, we have all of these strong product providers behind us, supporting us. You know, these companies are here. They don't mess around either. So I tell you, you know what, this is where it all comes in. And when you talk about best interests, I believe having best interests for the client, is very simple, is that you're able to offer them the right company with the right solution. Everybody's got to agree with me on that. We're not asking you to learn about every single product, and you shouldn't learn about every product. There should just be about 3 to 4 main companies that you use for a certain client profile. I do not learn everything. You know, a long time ago, I used to love to learn everything, and I found out that when I learn a lot of things, and you know everything, let me say something. You ever have guys that come in, they want to learn everything. Teach me everything about Everest, everything about Pac Life, Nationwide, for that, all these things, right? But you found out most of those guys that come in, they just want to learn everything. They usually do nothing. You know, because now they know a lot of stuff, but the fundamentals of the business is they forgot that these products do not sell themselves. Transamerica, FFIUL, does not walk to someone's home and tell them, hey, you need to call Dewey Trong and he's going to help you. Transamerica is not going to send us the referrals. These products do not sell themselves, so you have to understand the fundamentals of this business is prospecting, contacting, following up, presentation, and implement the solution. It is very simple. So I found out learning a little less, and you're going to learn as you go, is the way to do it. That's why in the System Builder book it says, stumble forward, stay confused. Do not take stumble forward, stay confused as you being quote unquote stupid, or you don't know anything. In this business, as you're going, you're going to learn the business. You're going to learn the financial products. You want to really learn about these products? Let me tell you what you do. And it's not going on to no insult to the product provider. I love our product providers. All of our product providers are some of the best. They are the best people out there. They're so loving, they're so caring. Typically product providers with other companies, they're 8 to 5. But our product providers right here, from anywhere from Transamerica, Everest, Nationwide, Pac Life, and Crump, you call them and you ask them to have a team call with you at 9 p.m. in the evening, they will literally have a team call with you 9 in the evening. But if you go to some of these other places, Schwab, something like that, or these big banks, and you ask them, can you do a presentation for our team at 9 p.m. at night? You know what they're going to do? It's 8 to 5. Call me between that time. But our providers here will spend time with you. So no insult to them, no downplay to them, but this is the way you sell the financial products. You take a trainer out on the field and they will do the appointment for you, and you watch them do the appointment, okay? Hold on. And you watch them do the appointment, and guess what? That's how you close. It's real life. It's on the field experience. Is that fair enough, everybody? So I know we love them, but don't call them, hey, teach me how to sell the Everest. You know? Now, when you have a solution that you need the Everest, guess what? You can go into it, okay? But here, this is how I do it, all right? So we have the power of choice, and I'm going to share step 1. I have a couple of case studies, and actually right now I helped a lot of clients. I've always helped a lot of clients. I believe last year I did an index annuity business with one provider, let's say Athene. I believe it was at $7 million last year. $7 million, and that was just getting started. And now on this year, currently right now, for the last 2 cases I did about a total of $2 million. $2 million in one Athene, one Nationwide, and several other smaller $100,000 ones. And they're not small, by no means, but you know what? Several other cases around there. But I wanted to give you a case study that I share with you that in the index annuity sphere, I want to talk to you how I came out with that, okay? Now, I sell variable annuities too, okay? And now I'm getting into the RILA business. So I want to share you this. The first one you want to do, and this is a real case study, I change up some of the things for client privacy, and you should always have client privacy in mind for everybody on the call. And I know you guys do, but I always got to remind everybody, right? And this is a PFS, and you have to, number one, well, first of all, whenever you do your SYF, you do the SYF, you find out, you do SYF, and then you find out the client wants to learn about, hey, I want to learn about some retirement solutions. I'm going to walk you through on my PFS the steps I take first, okay? And number one thing that I always go on a PFS is right here under concerns. Concerns to me is very important. Let me tell you why. Because when a person, a client, a potential client, a prospect at this point right now, when you pull out one of these PFSs, a lot of team members are scared to ask for these numbers. Because they feel like that, it's maybe their private information, they're not going to tell me about it, I'm worried, I'm scared. That's why a lot of team members don't do PFS. You guys know what you do. You do SYF, and then you tell them, here's the best product in the world, and I'm going to throw an IUL in front of you. Sometimes you guys walk around and you talk about IUL all day long. Sometimes I feel like you should get a tattoo of your IUL right here. I have no idea how you figured out by doing one SYF that you say that they need an IUL. I just don't get it. Maybe you're a mind reader, but I can't figure it out. For 27 years I've been in business, I cannot figure out the financial product by doing one flip chart. But if you would do a good PFS, you will figure out what a client needs. So when I ask them about concerns, step one, I always do concerns. Number one, concerns. They're going to tell me exactly what's going on. Number two, I'm going to go through their goals right here. What are you looking to do this year? And this year right here, I look at this right here. Did you know that when they tell me, Victor or Vin, that whenever they tell me what they want to do in this box right here, guess what happened? They are telling me exactly what they want to buy. They're telling me exactly what their problem is and what they want solved this year. Now, are we going to take a whole year to do it? No, we're going to start as soon as we can. But this one right here, this one box right here in my goals, the first year is so important. Okay? And then, when we do a PFS, you'll find out, hey, this client here's in medical. He makes about $41,000 a month take home. I see all of his assets right here. He listed out with me. We go through the whole assets and everything. And he has all of these assets listed right here. And I come to find out some of his accounts in here have a very low interest rate. And the reason why, and I asked him, is what's the reason for having these accounts in these accounts? Because, he said, I've done well for myself. I've accumulated a lot of wealth. And now the market, I don't want to lose it because of a downside in the market. And then the minute they say to me they don't want to lose money in the downside from the market, you know exactly the financial solution that we can use to help them. But if you don't do a PFS, Vin, and you're just looking for IUL, they look at you like a life insurance agent only. They don't look at you a full-fledged guy that can do this planning. And I look at this and I do this, all of this, and I have the monthly expenses, I got everything. I have to have everything, okay? So when I have everything, then we put the product and we put the solution in place. And that's whenever I present the solution. And presenting the solution is so easy because these products are simple. It's not like a variable universal life, man. A variable universal life, you got to explain M&E charges, you got to explain rider charges, you got to explain all the mutual fund cost inside of it. You got to disclose so many things in there. You can't guarantee a single thing to them. It's all kinds of things that you can't do. Right? So this one is simple. And this is a great financial product, okay, is for this, okay? So let's talk about first one, okay? And I use, if a client, you want to write this down. Number one, if a client is looking for, number one, Dewey, I don't want to lose any money in the market, due to market. That's a good key point, number one. Principal protection. Number two is that, but I do want to participate in the growth if the market's doing well. I want to make some money. I want to outpace inflation, because if I'm taking in less than 5% in my savings or any accounts out there, I'm going backwards in time. So I do want to have some growth potential. Now, Dewey, I'm not looking for those 40%, 50%, 30%, 28% returns. I just want some consistent returns in a good market. Okay, that's good. Now, besides that, what happened if the client asks you, well, Dewey, I need some guaranteed income too. I would love to take some of this money, convert it to a life insurance company, and let them, they manage it for me, and with these index accounts, and guess what happened? In the future, I get a guaranteed payout for as long as I'm alive, and also as long as when I'm alive, my wife is alive. If I'm alive and I pass away, my wife will receive income. So let's use product number one, okay? So let's take a look at the Nationwide New Heights Select 9. Now, I use this one personally because for the client's profile, there are some index annuities that will give you a little higher payout, right? But cash value, they're not really worried about, but they want that higher payout, maybe life expectancy or something. Okay, they're different products. So make sure you go through AMS so they can run the numbers for you and you can present it to the client to see which one fits. But for this one, I've compared it to several other companies, and so far for this one, this is the one I'm running with. Okay, so this is what we call the Nationwide Select 9. And how does it work? If you take a look at the summary sheet, just very simple, is number one is that you got the client's age. So this is a joint life income. A joint life income means that if two lives are in place, that if the husband's a male, 58 years old, and then I also have a female, which is a 51-year-old. Okay, so they're funding, the purchase amount is going to be $1 million, and this is a fully funded policy already, and they're going to pay an income rider charge of 1.1% on here. Okay, there's a charge on here. Now, to me, then fees to me, 1.1, what you pay for sometimes is what you get. But there's a lot of times what you pay for, you get nothing. So if you think about it, if you had a brokerage account right now, think of yourself. Any of you guys out in the country right now, hold on a second. I have a brokerage account with XYZ. They charge me about 1.1, 1.2, 1% around there. But what do I really get? They have a lot of companies that say, well, when we do good, you do good. The better you do, the better we do. Of course, because the account grows, they get a little more money. But they never tell you that, hold on a second, but whenever you do bad, we don't get paid. Or we do bad, you do, we do. It doesn't work that way. Fees are always going to come out of these accounts. So I always ask clients is that, what do your 1% fee you're paying, what do you get? What do you get, a phone call once a year? That's about it. So, but in this, when you pay an income rider fee, what do you get? And I'll show you in a minute. So let's go a little further. So bottom line of this contract, you put $1 million in, and I look at what we call the guaranteed compound roll-up rate. This is a client that at age 65 years old, right here. This is called guaranteed. Guaranteed means guaranteed. That at this point in time, by age 65, the minimum this client's going to receive on a yearly basis is going to be roughly $95,000. And they are going to continue to pay the client $95,000 for the rest of his life as long as he's alive. And if he takes payment for 5 years and he passes away, he go see heaven, go visit God, or whoever your God is, the lovely, happy wife will start receiving the $95,000. It is not like a regular pension. Most pensions out there, if you're receiving $95,000 and you croak, your wife will probably receive 1/2 or 1/3 or some numbers less than that. It's usually never 100%. But in these types of index annuity, the rider charge that you're paying, the 1.1%, you're gonna get $95K for the husband and $95K for the wife. And if there's a remaining balance in the account, the remaining balance will be paid to your greedy, loving kids. Okay? So, I have greedy, loving
They
kids.
could be
Okay, they're
greedy
good,
and loving,
okay?
okay.
So, let me show you a little more, couple more key features here. Number one, you're gonna get for the income rider basis, okay? You're gonna get a guaranteed 9.5% roll-up. That means every single year, you're gonna get 9.5. But if the market is outperforming that, you're gonna get a step up on it, okay? And you're gonna get an initial 30% bonus on the income portion. Don't mistake this as 30% bonus on cash, because this is a type of policy that you are using it for guaranteed income in the future. Now, understand, we are not annuitizing a contract. You know, a lot of time, you guys, when you close this type of an account, and then whenever they call their XYZ broker, and they ask the broker asks them, so what are you putting your money into? The client doesn't know what to say sometimes, so the client says some type of an annuity. And then the broker tells them, oh my gosh, you gotta stay away from that, because you know what? Once you annuitize, you lose all control of your money, which is true. When you do an annuitization, you lose control of your money. So let me show you what happened. If you did an annuitization, let's say they're paying you $95,000 a year, you would lose full control of your money. So that means you got paid after you passed away. Your wife couldn't live without you, so she lived for 2 months. She passes away. If there's a remaining balance in the account, it goes to the insurance company. But in this account, you're not annuitizing, you're exercising lifetime income. So let me show you a sample. So this is what we call the most recent 12 years repeated. So it gives you an idea how the policy performed within the last 12 years, up markets and down markets. So I like, Victor, the last 12-year number, because why? We had a combination of up years and we had a combination of down years. So it kind of gives you an idea of how it performed. So if you look at right there, age 65, you have a couple of numbers here. Most important number. Number one, you have what we call surrender value numbers. Now, what is surrender value, guys? Everybody knows what surrender value. That means that if you cancel the policy, this is what you get back with minus out all penalties. That's your number. This is what we call your surrender value. Second thing that you have in this one right here that's important is that you have what we call the death benefit. So we're going to take a look at this right here. So this client's going to exercise income at age 65. They're going to receive $95,000 a year from their account. That's their lifetime income. It will never drop below this number unless you start taking out money from the surrender value side. But as long as you take out this number right here, it's lifetime income. But let's just assume that the market is continuing to do well, the account's doing well, and let's go to age 75 right here. So let me show you right here. Take a look. Oh, sorry. Follow me right here. Okay? That's a big highlighter, huh? At age 75, let's say, because this policy, as the years go by, if it steps up income because the market growth, things like that, let's say it's at $121,000 right now. So 121 is your minimum payout, okay? A couple scenarios can happen. Number one, you die. If you die, your wife will receive the guaranteed income for the rest of her life, as long as she's alive. If she can't live without you, she says, oh my gosh, my honey is not here anymore. There's nothing to live for, which I don't think it should be that way. You're receiving this money. Why would you think that? Now, if you're not getting any money, that's whenever you say, you know what, why'd you leave me with all the debt? Why'd you leave me with all the kids? Why'd you leave me with no money? That's a different story. But in this case right here is a six-figure payout. And if she passes away, if there's a remaining death benefit, which is 2.9 million assumption right here, 2.9 million right here, that will be paid out to the beneficiary. Of course, they're going to pay taxes on it. Okay, but that's their problem, not your problem. Okay, because you took care of the family well. That's your problem. But let's just say life changes. You have a life expectancy change. Doctor says you have cancer. Doctor says you have health issues. And you know what? You say, well, this 121 is not going to take care of me, Victor. You know, I got an expensive wife named Joyce. You know, and she wants to spend money with me. So guess what? Victor, you have access to up to your surrender value right here. So if you change your mind, you can cancel your policy, get 2.9 million back, surrender the contract, be done with it. You know, say, honey, I'm going to take you across the world. We're going to go to every freaking city in the Philippines and build a new church in every single city. You know, then guess what happened? Then you can do that. So you have the option to cash out, get the monthly payment. So I think this is one of the options that we have right here. I love this one right here because you have life choices you can choose upon. So if you look right here in WSB fashion, number one, you have growth. You have a 30% bonus, 9.5% growth during the accumulation phase of the policy on the income base. You have no losses in your policy. You have a lifetime income of $95,000, and you have a death benefit at age 65. If you were to pass away, both husband and wife pass away, you still have 1.9 million. So this point of this one is that what you pay for is what you get. You pay $1 million at age 58, one-time payment. Guess what? This is what you get. What you pay for, what you get. Now, the second type of one I did right here is called an Athene Performance Elite 7. So part of the money is for income driven, and the rest of the part of it over here is for growth focused. So we use the Athene Performance Elite 7. This one focuses on growth potential. As protection, you don't lose any money in the market when the market takes a downturn. And you also have the tax deferrals on here, which is normal. Okay, but so take a look at this one. This is for the husband, 58. This is a $1.1 million account. On this one right here, there's a zero fee on it. You know, if you're competing with another company that's got 1.1% fee or any brokerage fees, this is a very good product to use. You know, and this is growth focused right here, right? So if I look at this right here, so if I look at it here, by the time he's age 64 right here, he puts in 1 million, he could potentially have $3 million in his account. This is growth focused. So this is for a client that says, hey, you know what? I'm putting in this other account. It's at a 5% return. You know what? I'd rather put it in something like this one. Number one, I'm not going to lose money in the market. And number two, Ben, I'm going to be able to earn interest in this policy if the index strategies go up in a positive. So you notice if you look at the earned interest rate here, 1, 10, 24, 12, 16, 28, 24, 0. So you notice if you look right here, Ben, there's not one single negative. That just comes to prove to you that there is no negatives in this policy. And then at this client right here, you can even exercise a income interest only. You can call them up at the end of the year, let's say age 65. Then you call the client, you call the company up at Athene, you say, hey, Athene, what was my last year crediting numbers? And they told you your crediting number is $656,000. That's your interest that you made in your policy. Then you tell them, you know what? Go ahead, withdraw that and put it in my account. Depending if it's an IRA, you pay taxes on it. If it's a Roth IRA, you held 5 years old, 59 and a half, you pay zero tax. So you have to take a look at this and say, wow, this is a good growth vehicle. And by the way, after 7 years, if you don't like the performance of the policy, you have options. You can move it and surrender the contract and do another rollover somewhere else. It's up to you. You're not tied into it. You're not locked into it. And I like that. And the clients love that feature. But I'm going to tell you, all these annuities, you got some type of surrender period because why? They need you to put it in there long enough for you to be able to make any money and long enough for these insurance companies to recoup the cost of running these policies for you. Because agent's commission does not come out of this contract. You know, that's why I tell you, I feel really good helping my client with these contracts. Because when I put $1 million in, $1.1 million in here, you see the accumulated value, my commissions don't even come out of this thing. So I take a look at this, okay? So in WSB fashion, so easy right here. If you take a look at the most recent 10 years performance, 7 years later, 3.3 million. This is recent 10 years. This is what it's done. This is what we call the highest 10 years. If they took the highest numbers out of the last 10 years, this is what it'll look like. Most likely it's not going to do that. Or let's just say we take all the lowest years and we put it right here. Now we're at 2.9 million. So you have a couple of numbers you can play with and you can show the client, right? And I look at this right here and I said in WSB fashion, number one, what do I pay for? I pay 1.1 million. I pay 1.1 million, right? Age 58. I have by age 64, the lowest is 2.9. The highest is 4 million. Last 10 years, 3.3 million. Hey, if I can double my money from 1 million just to 2 million without any market losses, I would be really happy. Because why? You still have safety in here, no loss. And you still offer the tax advantages in here. If it's cash, it's tax deferred. If it's from qualified money, IRA, it's tax deferred. If it's from a Roth IRA, it's tax free. And in this contract right here, it's zero cost. You know, these are sensible financial products for the right client. This fits for them. Now, if you have a client that's more aggressive, they want to go more aggressive, you have the RILA products, okay? Which that's what we're looking into next. Because I believe in diversification. I don't believe in one policy does it all. It has to be diversified. So in closing, you know, this is the one part. And I tell people, I tell team members, you should be proud that you help families, but when you're helping families, you have to get paid too. I'm happy because why? The commissions that I make on this policy, Vin, does not come out of my client's account. It's not like they deposited $1 million in the account and then let's say $30,000 is minus for a sales charge or something or the cost of the policy and I get part of that money for commissions. I would feel kind of guilty on that. That's why some people always say, have you ever had that team member that says, well, I feel guilty making money on my team, or I feel guilty making money on my friends? You know, to me, these financial products are incredibly perfect for that scenario where, you know what, you don't have to worry about that instance. And to me, I always say something is that if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others either. You know, there's no way you're going to come in here and don't want to make money, because if you don't want to come in here and don't want to make money, then why don't you go work for the Salvation Army? Why don't you call Charity Water up and tell Charity Water, hey, Charity Water, I would love to go to Nigeria and I want to dig a well for you guys. I want to do everything because I love to help people, which is noble. But don't worry, don't pay me. I don't need money. You know, you have to understand that you don't say that you want to help families out there, but you can't even help your own family. You must be able to help your own family first before you can help other families. So I love this business because it's a vice versa. It goes hand in hand. I help your family, you win, I win, my uplines win, Tan Cow wins, Don Q wins, Steve Cow wins, and none of those three guys train me right now on this. None of those three guys. The only guy I really see is maybe Steve, Don, Tan. Once in a while, we do a super trip, we see each other, or run across each other in a restaurant. That's about it. You know, but for the rest of their life, they built a system or built an agency, or myself, that they override. So I just want to tell everybody, you got to talk to people. You know, don't sit here and just learn about products and don't talk to them, because these products do not sell themselves. I know they're wonderful, but they just don't get up and sell themselves. You can't hold a brochure just praying that it's going to come to you. You must go out there and talk to people. So in closing on this one right here, talk about a little number, money-wise. I like to talk a little money, okay? You look at this. You gotta know your numbers. If you roll over $1 million, the payout to the field is 6.2%. Okay? That is a total of 62,000 points. You know what's funny? Ben, don't you think it's funny? Whenever someone goes to work for someone 8 hours a day, whatever their boss asks them to do, they do it. If their boss tells them go get them coffee, they'll go get it. The boss tells them fly across the country, they don't need to go home and ask their wife. They just do it. But then their paycheck comes home, and let's say their paycheck's $545.52. But their paycheck before every single month is $550.52. They're missing about what? Couple bucks, is that right? Did you know then, if they're missing like a couple of dollars on there, they would sit there, call HR department up, call and find out what's going on. They would pull out their calculator. They would look at their time card. How long did I work? How long did I work? Well, how come they deducted that from me? For freaking something less than 10 bucks, they would do that. But how come it comes to us when we're licensed in this business, it's your business, and you do not know exactly how you get paid? See, if you don't know exactly how you get paid, let me tell you something, you don't know how to make money here. This is why you gotta learn the numbers here too. It is not your uplines deal, right? Okay, so Victor, I guess it's my time's up, right? Okay, my time's up. Hey, look at this. Training Associate 15,000, Associate 21,000, GXMD's 31,000, GXSMD's 40 grand, guys. Hey, this is the GX. If you run GX, you're going to get it. And I'm so proud to be a WSB. Thank you for your time. I bet I went overtime, all right? Thank you, everyone.